what's up, everybody? I'm Carrie Sheffield, and I am so excited to be here tonight at the lovely home of the even lovelier, if that's possible, Eboni Williams.
She's so good.
And we want you to go right now to prettypowerful.com and get your copy, or prettypowerfulbook.com, and get your copy. You can get a pre-signed copy, and we're going to be doing that here. You can witness it here. You can put your questions or comments, anything that you want to know about Miss Eboni. And I am so thrilled that she's going to let me moderate this conversation with her. So, Eboni, tell us about the book. What inspired the title?
Well, so before I get into that, I really just want to thank you, Carrie, for taking the time out right back after Labor Day. Schedules are packed, and taking the time to come up to my home and do this with me. They told me I needed a moderator, and I have a lot of friends, but I felt that you would be so perfect for this because you, to me, are exactly the woman that I wrote this book for. You are absolutely pretty powerful because, yes, you're a lovely woman, but more, of course, than that is what this book is about, which is about women feeling the self-assuredness and the empowerment to go out and do it their way. And I love what you have with Bold Media, and I'm so excited to join you guys next week and talk about the book more with you. But you're an entrepreneur, you're a businesswoman. I talk about that in the book. I'm going to read some passages around the challenges of entrepreneurship. People talk about the Zuckerbergs and the glory stories, but there's a lot of ups and downs to that journey. So anyways, I'm very inspired by you and your pretty power. And so thank you for joining me for this signing.
Thank you.
Okay, so to the title, because that's interesting. So the title, Pretty Powerful, Appearance, Substance, and Success. It's a little provocative. I got some pushback initially from my publisher because there was this thought that, you're a young host, people are just getting to know you. Do you really want your first book to be this kind of glamorous, pretty powerful mantra that could come across as lightweight?
Yeah, I saw someone on Twitter say, the word pretty is before powerful, I'm turned off.
And that's expected, right? Again, it's going to be something that hits a nerve for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. But one of the first, I believe it's the first chapter, or it's the intro, pretty isn't a dirty word. So I tackle that notion head on, where I talk about, and I tell this anecdote of, the fact, it's the intro, pretty isn't a dirty word. I'll be 34 this Saturday. And so,
happy birthday.
Thank you. Well, this book is my gift to myself.
For her birthday, go to prettypowerfulbook.com.
And I'll sign a copy, and that's my birthday present to me from you.
Yes, perfect.
To you.
And you get a present too.
Exactly.
I mean, this is a win-win.
This is a mutual beneficial thing already. I love it. So that's fair. And so my friends, I'm sure your friends, they're starting to be moms, right? They're having kids. They're popping out babies left and right. Mazel, it's beautiful. And so one of my girlfriends is telling me this story where she's in the grocery store line with her daughter, who's like 3. And someone walks up to her daughter to say, oh my God, she's so pretty. And my friend who went to Chapel Hill with me, a very accomplished attorney as well, was just totally put off. Don't tell her she's pretty. She's smart, she's ambitious, she's precocious, she's all these things. I said, well, girl, listen, she is all those things, and she will be an incredible force. But there's nothing wrong with the fact that someone's acknowledging that she also happens to be a pretty little girl, and stopping the apologizing around that as women, because I think for so many generations, Carrie, that's been the myth, the narrative told to us, that you got to pick, right? Either you want to be a smart...
One or the other.
One or the other. You're an Ivy League graduate. You understand what I'm talking about. You either are serious about your academics, you want to be a dominant professional force in this world, or you want to be appreciated for your aesthetic, and you want to look the part, and you want to be adored by men or whatever your sexual preference is, and you want to be put on this pedestal for your femininity and your womanhood. And this book is all about breaking down that false narrative of having to choose. I spent many years as a young professional attorney and eventually as a broadcaster feeling like a walking contradiction. Like, oh no, I am so determined and fiercely concerned with my academics and my professional pursuits and being the best, sharpest lawyer that God ever made. And I'm a former pageant girl. I'm a beauty queen.
Yes, you had your first, this made me laugh out loud when I read it, that you got your first glamour shots when you were 6 years old. And I was like, oh my gosh, the pressure that you must have been under. And I know, as you read the book, which you all need to read, and go to prettypowerfulbook.com and read it. But your mom is like this, she's a very powerful force in your life.
Very
And she
powerful.
put a lot of pressure on you, but it was also like making you into a diamond. That was my sense throughout the
I
book.
love that. Thank you for that. Yeah, pressure does make diamonds. And I say to everyone, Pretty Powerful is as much my mother's story as it is mine, right? There's so much in it that's about her real genius around understanding the connected dots between, all right, my daughter's being recruited into pageants. She's being recruited to do commercial work as a little child actress and all this stuff. So she has a look that can sell a product, and then eventually knowing I wanted to become a trial lawyer, knowing that that's selling a message, that's selling a narrative, that's selling the most compelling story to a jury or a judge. So really understanding from 6 years old on up that the ability to be intentional around one's look. And that's what I mean by pretty powerful. And I want to make that very clear. I've got a lot of questions like, well, what easy for you to say, Ebony, former, first runner up to Miss North Carolina. And that's fair. That's fair. I definitely thank you, mother. Thank you, biological father. You dealt me a decent genetic hand. At the same time, this is 2017, and thank God, beauty looks so many different ways now. One of my favorite chapters is a colleague and friend of both of ours, McCain, where she talks about the fact that she's not a size 0, a size 2, and she is killing it in the game.
She's size 14.
Size
She talks about in
14,
the book,
which is the
average
size of a woman in this country, and Megan represents beauty on many levels. So it's not about, fitting a certain Barbie doll look. It's about embracing your choice around how you present to this world and your aesthetic and your confidence. So that is a little bit about why I went with Pretty Powerful. I want women to feel empowered around leaning into the duality, the dual power of making decisions and how you present to this world aesthetically and physically, and being all the way bossed up on your stuff, knowing your facts left and right, being the most prepared, as we both know a lot about, in the room, because that's where the confidence comes from, is that preparation, that academic rigor, that pursuit of excellence at every level.
Yeah, no, I mean, and throughout the book, you talk a lot about growing up on the west side of Charlotte, and if you don't know, that ain't the rich side. And your mom, you talked about how your mom drove buses part-time, and she would drive the rich girls who you would then be competing with in the pageants, and she was driving them on the bus, and your public assistance. And so it seemed like to me you were in this paradox your whole life of, you had this, life of poverty, or at least in a material sense, in a spiritual sense, and an emotional sense, absolutely not, but in a material sense you had this dichotomy between what you were presenting to the world and what you had back home. I thought it was amazing, the duality again.
That's the genius again of my mother. I have to give her credit, because she knew that unfortunately still in our country, as wonderful as we are as Americans, we have a lot of judgment or assessment around the haves and the have-nots. So as a school bus driver part-time, while she was also going to beauty school and she was also raising me and also trying to build a business, she was like, these privileged young girls and boys present a certain way, and thus they are received in the classroom a different way by their educators, by their teachers. So she said, well, we might be on the west side of Charlotte. We might be getting, some supplemental government assistance for housing and food, and she might be on free lunch. But when Ebony walks into the classroom, she's going to look like a polished, focused, serious student. And golly, that's what it was. Like, we didn't have uniforms in my school, but I had a uniform. It was a polo shirt, it was duck-head khaki shorts, and penny loafers every day for many years. So that when, again, I walked in the classroom, my teachers knew Ebony's here to learn. And if there was a challenge, and I always, and this is important, Carrie, I really believe and know I'm no smarter than anyone else. I really believe that. I'm not any more special or
law degree aside.
A privilege. No, it's true, because I did work hard. I got some natural gifts, but ultimately I got opportunity. And I got opportunity, and it was fostered, and it was facilitated, and all the dots kind of connected. And again, my mother positioned me so that people felt there was an investment being made in me academically that would ultimately pay off. And that's why community service is so important to me. And I talk about that in the book as well. Mentorship. I have been mentored tremendously by amazing people, particularly some really strong, pretty powerful women. And it's important for me to give that back, because I am only here today talking with Miss Carrie Sheffield because people invested in me.
Yeah, no, when I read that, I was like, that sounds like pretty preppy to me.
Oh, it was total
Pretty
prep
preppy.
game. Total prep game, like start to finish, totally designed explicitly for that purpose.
Yeah, but your mom knew what that uniform of success meant.
That's right.
But I think too, like you said, in our culture now, and your book really tackles a lot of stereotypes of, you know, what makes you actually powerful. It's not the clothes you wear. It's not the Louis Vuitton. It's really what's going on upstairs.
It is. It is. I'll read just a quick kind of quote that I came to this conclusion because again, I really want people to understand it's not about symmetric features or, you know, looking like the next Miss Universe. Because frankly, that only gets you so far, and I write about that candidly, as you know, in the book. Yeah. If you're really, really pretty in that way, it might get you to a door. It will rarely get you through one, and it'll never keep you there. And you can quickly be exposed, as I write about in Cautionary Tales. When you invest solely in the aesthetic and just the looks, and you don't take care of your business academically or professionally, that exposure level, you can never make up for it because credibility is everything. And once you're out, it is not having that substantive grit and you know, the there, you can't come back from that. So this is something that I said in the book, and I believe truly. Certainly some women are born with more natural beauty than others. But this fact alone does not disqualify any woman from deciding, it's a key word, deciding, to make a concerted effort to maximize or improve upon her appearance, i.e. wardrobe, personal grooming, nonverbal communications, and general demeanor. That as a savvy business strategy. And Carrie, what I'm saying there is, again, you know, I'm not naive. You know, certainly we look at magazine covers, we look at pageants, we look at kind of all these standard bearers of what beauty is and what it looks like. And there's kind of some consistent themes. And I touch on it barely in the book, but even when we start talking about classic Eurocentric standards of beauty and the blonde hair and the blonde, whatever. Some of us get that, some of us don't. Some of us are size 14.
My sister's blonde, and I was so jealous of her for like.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Years.
Why?
And then I outgrew it, and I was like, I don't care anymore, because people now think I'm the smart one because I'm not blonde. But also I think I've worked through it where I don't care. You know, it's like I love her, I love myself.
Of course,
like, you know, but I definitely get that.
But growing up, blonde was put on a pedestal.
And my aunt was Miss USA, and she was like a.
I saw that, by the way, on your social media, and I was like, I knew I loved Carrie. Anyway,
but she was tall and blonde, and I was short and brunette. So
yes.
I didn't get that. I'm in the shallow end of the gene pool, so I totally get it.
No, it's so
and
true.
And everyone doesn't have what they want.
And then you have what you
have.
You're right. Like I would love to be taller. Person, I grew up in pageants, and that's a tall girl sport.
Yes,
takes
it is
your
a tall
aunt.
girl sport,
So I'm like this little pesky pipsqueak, barely touching 5'3.5" on a good day, and feeling some way about it, right?
5'2" and a half. Don't forget that half.
Yes. No,
I know.
3 and a half.
That's what I'm saying. I'm 5'2".
Oh, I was like, why are you trying to take my inch away, Carrie?
No, that's what
We're about to have a problem here in Harlem. But yeah, so we all, and that's the beauty. As everybody, you know, we have our challenges and our insecurities, and I get that question a lot.
It's good for TV, though.
It is good for TV. It's not good for modeling. It's not good for pageants, but it's all right for TV. So yeah.
Yeah. So let's. We want to hear from you. Make sure to add your questions. And Eboni, why don't we get you signing some books?
Okay.
So we're gonna get this machine cranked up. She's gonna write some write some signatures there.
Write
another book right here, right now, in the next 30 minutes.
All right.
And we'll get you some questions here from the audience.
Okay, great. This is exciting.
So Monique, hey Monique from Dallas, Texas. She says, how do you personally define success?
All right, first book's that. Okay.
History made.
History made. Success for me is, well, I'm a Virgo. Obviously, my birthday's in a couple of days, so I'm an overachiever. So success for me is about achievement. That's like the specific word I use. So what do I mean by that? It's not that what happens to me makes me feel successful. It's how hard I worked to make it happen. That's what feels like success to me. So it's when I passed the bar exam, that felt like success, not because, oh, I'm a lawyer and I'm special. Who cares? There's a million lawyers. It felt like success, Carrie, because I worked hard to pass the bar exam. I sacrificed. I studied. I went to Barbary. I made flashcards. I'm a kinetic learner. Just a little bit of background information. So, you know, everybody has different learning style, audio, kinetic, whatever. I'm kinetic. And so I made flashcards for every single rule of law that's on that North Carolina bar exam for the past 5 years. And I committed to that. And so when I passed, that felt like success because of the sacrifice involved and the payoff I received. So for me, it's the sacrifice meets achievement ratio that feels like success.
It's awesome. Thank you, Monique.
Thank you, Monique. That's a great question.
Lawrence from Worcester, Massachusetts says, are you planning to do a national book tour soon, Eboni?
Absolutely. And what I can tell you, this is breaking news right here from Harlem. One of the first stops, in addition to my New York kickoff, which will be on the Upper East Side at Barnes & Noble's here in the city, will also be in Los Angeles on Monday night, the 18th, at Esalen Bookstore in Los Angeles. I will have a signing there. So LA is going to be one of my first anchor stops.
Excellent.
I'm going to start on the West Coast and work my way east, certainly stopping in Atlanta, stopping in Texas, DC, Philadelphia, and some other cities. But those are what we know so far.
I feel like LA is a good place where they need to hear this.
Yeah, I was in LA for 5 years, and I, with all love and much respect to my Los Angeles friends, it's a different society, it's a different value system, and it takes, once you get to know real LA natives, though, and people that have really set roots there, they actually have a ton of substance and they have a ton of appreciation for the things that all Americans care about. But you kind of got to go a little deeper there. So again, not judging.
This is their guidebook.
This is their guidebook.
LA, you need to check this out. This will help you move to
judging.
the powerful side.
A book by its cover, pun intended. I love it.
Yeah. So Lawrence, are you going to Boston? Because he's in Worcester, Massachusetts.
I am looking strongly at going to Boston.
All right, Lawrence, keep an eye out.
Let's try to make that happen.
Pretty powerful book.
You have to demand me. Boston, reach out to the bookstores there. We'll make it happen. It'll be good.
Start a grassroots movement.
That's right.
Yes. Brian from Winchester, Virginia says, oh boy, where did you get those eyes?
Oh gosh. Well, 2 places, Brian, full disclosure. I got them first from my mother and biological father. But second, I do wear eyelashes on air, full disclosure. Unlike Miss Beyonce Knowles, who says she woke up that way, I did not actually wake up this way.
Yeah,
that is the truth. It looks a little bit different than it looks every day from 5 to 6 on the Fox News specials. In fact, when I do my radio show at WABC, it's sans makeup. It's nothing but moisturizer on my face.
I've seen some shots of you.
Yeah,
You look pretty,
so
pretty darn cute.
it's all right. It's all right. I do all right. But the glam squad, the lashes, all make it much more appealing. And that's kind of, again, that's the pretty power move, right? Not being afraid of saying, you know what, natural beauty, I embrace it. I feel beautiful when I wake up in the morning. But I'm also aware and savvy enough. I've learned the business, as you know, enough to know the tricks of the trade to give you that extra oomph, to be strategic and intentional about taking the appearance up to the next level. So, no shade. No shade, no shade.
No, you gotta own it. So Edward from Ambler, Pennsylvania, he says, do you ever feel that your beauty gets in the way of people taking you seriously? He says, happy birthday. I know I'm 3 days early. Do you have any big plans for your birthday? I wish you all the best, and God bless.
Oh my gosh, a beautiful message.
Thank
God
you,
bless
Edward.
you. Thank you, Edward. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I
and
received
faith
those.
is a big theme in her book.
It is.
Eboni,
Thank you for mentioning that.
She noticed, or she notes her mother's influence on how. I really respected how you said, I'm working for a higher power here, and it's really about something bigger than yourself.
Yeah, for me, and I write about it in detail throughout the book, and especially in the epilogue, Bet on Yourself. Like, some people are called to the pulpit or ministry. I feel called to this work that we do, Carrie. I think that as the privileged among us that get to live our dream by way of making a living, talking about things that matter to us, I think that feels like a spiritual calling, and that feels like work that we were put on this earth to do with specificity. And I'm humbled by it. I don't take it lightly. And that's why, for every show I prepare, I'm ready. I'm well read on my guests on the topics, because people giving us 5, 10, 15 minutes of their time when they can get the news from anywhere feels like it feels like a gift. And again, I feel like, God blessed me with certain spiritual gifts. That's something that I feel, and that's my faith system. And I don't know, you can't ever pay God back, but, and not to get too churchy, but the way I show, but the way I show my appreciation for that, though, is to be a good steward of those gifts. And I see that in you and many of our wonderful colleagues. Kirsten Hagelin's amazing.
Oh, yes.
She's a mutual friend of ours, and she's in the book. And we talk a lot about that. And we've all, connected socially outside of, work at Fox and work on television, because I think we all share that, we're blessed to be able to do this. And it's something we take very seriously.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, thank you.
Something
Do you
said
think
there,
he said though? Do you feel that your beauty gets in the way of people taking you seriously?
So that's a good one. So I want to answer that with what Miss Desiree Rogers said. So her chapter is called The Comfort Zone. And towards the end here,
and Desiree Rogers was former President Obama's social secretary. That is one of the characters in the book.
Yep.
And,
she gave me an interview.
she had been judged because she was a very powerful woman and was coming out of business to go work into politics, and didn't find that transition so smooth because people in DC were a little jealous. They weren't used to someone with style. They were used to, and having lived in DC, it's funny now when I go to DC, I actually had this woman once. I was going to the bathroom at like the gallery place or something, and she was like, I was just wearing like it would be a normal outfit for Fox News, and she was like,
"Where are you going?
Oh, did you just get back from the burlesque?"
Whoa.
And I was like, "No, I'm actually from New York. We have style there."
Whoa, that's real though, and that's actually very indicative of what kind of Desiree talks about in her chapter.
No, that chapter really resonated with me.
Yeah, because I'll find it in a second, but I asked her flat out if she felt like she'd been underestimated or misunderstood because she's a very striking, beautiful woman. She's 5'10". Yeah, I mean, she enters a room, and I joke, it's like, she walks in a room and you're like, let me just try again. Like, okay, like let me Control, Alt, Delete, start over. Correct. And that's just how she is. And she says, basically, if I can find it here verbatim, but paraphrasing, she's like, I don't think that I was underestimated. What I think is I was very misunderstood. And that people made really strong conclusions about the way I presented early on. And it's unfortunate because, what that does is it affords people to kind of draw these lines in the sand. And this is one of the quotes I have in the inside panel. Like, let's not make ourselves afraid of each other. It's painful and it's counterproductive. Let's lift each other up in our varying forms instead of drawing lines of separation. And like that story you tell where this woman's like, are you going to buy? Well, that's a cheap shot. Or what she could have said is, you know what, you look pretty amazing, Carrie. Where are you coming from? And maybe let me on what the context of all this is about. And maybe that could have been a learning moment possibly. Or at least even if she doesn't subscribe to it, which it's not about everyone subscribing to this mantra, but having a better understanding of one another and giving ourselves as women particularly permission to present in the ways that we feel most comfortable.
Wisdom.
Yeah. That feels important.
All throughout the book. Pearls of wisdom, just like that.
Oh, okay. I'll keep signing.
Let's see. So there's a question from Larry from Alto, New Mexico. Hey, Larry.
What's up, Larry?
Larry says, you are one person that many young women will emulate, and rightfully so. If you could offer one piece of advice to them, what would that advice be?
Thank you, Larry, for that. My one piece of advice to all young women across the country, and young men as well, but obviously this book speaks a little more closely to home for women. The epilogue, Bet on Yourself. In it, I spent a few brief pages telling a long story very quickly about because that's a common question, right? How do you go from being a kind of traditional courtroom lawyer to hosting 2 broadcast shows, one on Fox News Channel and one on WABC in New York City.
Which Megyn Kelly did too.
Did too, which Greta Van Susteren did. It's been done, but I think every time someone really successfully makes that transition, it's kind of incredible. Like, how does that work? What does that transition look like? And what are the challenges along the way, which in Megyn Kelly's book, Settle for More, she talks about hers, and I detail a lot of my challenges in Pretty Powerful, and it's not glamorous, as you know, because you read the book. I was within a couple weeks of having a car repossessed. I was within about a month of possibly, when they kick you out of your apartment? Eviction. Thank God it's not so close to home anymore. I almost forgot the term. But I was there. You know what it is? It's probably a mental block.
Yes.
But that's real. And frankly, I don't even know, and I say in the book that was the responsible choice. I might have not made all the most responsible decisions, but I was betting on myself. And again, that's the piece of advice, because I felt so strongly convicted around my spiritual gifts that I'd received divinely, and also my own work ethic, my own ambition around the ability to manifest it into something that felt tangible, real, and important. And if I wasn't going to do that, Carrie, if we don't, like you went out and built Bold, like if we don't, bet on ourselves and invest fiscally and resource-wise and time-wise in our own dream, in our own vision, who in the world are we to ask other people to? That feels really important to me. So that would be my piece of advice, Larry, to everybody listening and watching. Bet on yourself. Get real clear around what your goals are and what you're willing to invest in it to manifest it into reality. And then I think you go way further than you might imagine.
Love it.
Yep.
So we got a question here from Sandra in Virginia Beach. Hey, Sandra. She said, hey, Eboni, so I hear you mention a few times that your mom and you are on different political sides. Yeah. So what would you say is your mom's main belief that has her supporting Republicans, and what is your main belief that has you supporting Democrats?
Beautiful.
What is an issue that you both can agree on, and what is an issue that you disagree on? Thank you, Sandy from Virginia Beach.
Hey, Sandy from Virginia Beach. I hope you're safe out there, Sandy, in the path of Irma. Yeah. Okay, so what's interesting is that my mother is a very loud and vocal and proud supporter of President Trump, and she has been she wasn't like a late to the game Trumper. She was like when he came down the escalator to announce Trumper. God bless her. For her as
didn't you not know about Scott Walker?
No. The thing is that she's not a Republican. The thing is my mom's not a Republican. My mom is not a Republican. She is a lifetime Democrat. Actually, to the point where she would walk in the booth or whatever back in the day when they would do it old school and pull the Democratic lever, like didn't even know people's names, just Democrat. Autopilot. But immediately was in support of President Trump because as a business guy, my mother being a small business owner, and as you know, I detail her power ascent as going from, really humble beginnings in South Louisiana to driving school bus, driving a UPS truck, putting herself through beauty school with a Pell Grant, and then opening her own salon, then daycare center, then tractor trailer business, and now she's the only woman that I know of in North Carolina that owns and operates by herself multiple 18-wheeler tractor trailers because she is that much of a business savvy genius and entrepreneur, and I think she's amazing. So for that reason, she felt that President Trump would be best suited for business acumen, that he had the temperament, he was the best positioned to be disruptive to the Washington machine, and it was a no-brainer for her. So to get to her question, one place we agree politically, we're both very, very big fans of certain government programs being in place for those that want to help themselves. I mentioned the Pell Grant. So she was a beneficiary of that. I went to Chapel Hill on a full ride, but I got my Pell Grant as well to supplement my living expenses. So we both believe that there's a space for government. We also both believe that there's a limit to that. And at some point, you really have to transition away from that and stand on your own. Place we disagree politically. That's tough. Probably. Trump? Well, yeah, on the candidate, it would be Trump. I'm trying to think because policy-wise, maybe because we're from the South, I think we both kind of believe in Second Amendment rights. We both, kind of on the same.
What about Charlottesville? Because you obviously. Yeah. Well, I was so proud of you for speaking out. What was your mom's response? I mean, did she felt embarrassed by what happened?
She didn't really feel embarrassed. I think my mother grew up in a different time than us, Carrie. She grew up literally in the 1960s. So for her, I think it all felt a lot less shocking. I think that my mother is used to the Klan marching. She grew up in Amite, Louisiana, so I think it all just felt a little more normal to her. I will say a good place. Now it's all coming back to me. I talk about when the Access Hollywood tapes came out during the campaign, and this is in the sexual harassment chapter, pretty powerful. And I was pretty taken aback, as many people were. But my mother was not, as also many people were not. And she absolutely felt that was locker room talk. That's how rich men talk. Big freaking deal. And I won't spoil it too much because you really should read the nuggets in the book because I'm very vulnerable and very honest.
Go to prettypowerfulbook.com.
Good job. Good plug. So I ended up having to detail my own personal experience with sexual harassment as a young law student. And I never shared that with her on purpose because I didn't want, she's my single mom, I don't have a father, and I'm her only child, so it's really just us. And she's always been very protective, understandably, of her baby girl. So I never wanted her to feel like I was in a position of danger that she couldn't protect me from. But things had happened. I was a young woman, growing up and going through things that all of us deal with as young women and challenges. So when the Access Hollywood tape came out and she was very flippantly like, big deal, that's how men talk, I was like, full stop, Mom, you could support whoever you want to for president, but I need to share something personal with you to give you context as to why this feels very egregious to me. And it's detailed really really finely in the book, and it's a place where we ultimately still, voted for who we voted for respectively, and that's fine, but it was a place for us to really kind of connect as women in a different space for the first time, which was, I think, actually very progressive and represented growth for both of us.
Great question.
Yeah, that's a beautiful question.
Stay safe down there.
Really, really good.
And
stay
so,
safe
all
down there
right.
in Virginia Beach.
Now, we teased this a little bit, that we were going to get a phone call to a super fan. And we've got Kayla from Madison, Illinois, and she's on the line.
Oh, my God.
Hi, is it Kayla or Kyla?
Is it speakerphone? Kayla?
It's Kayla.
Hey, Kayla, how are you? Oh, my gosh, this is exciting.
I'm so good. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Kayla. I'm getting up there.
Instagram.
Thank
And I was like, I'm going to be at school. And you're like, just wait. But I had to call it. So, just kind of piggybacking on the sexual harassment thing.
Sure.
Okay?
Yep.
So, I had an amazing internship this summer with a major company, Fortune 100, went to a different state for the internship.
Wow.
And this creep just straight sexually harassed me for like the majority of the internship. And I was really nervous on what to say to my manager because it was awkward, and I didn't tell my parents because I was so far away.
Yeah.
But I got my offer, and I graduate this December.
Congratulations,
so
Bob. No,
Great
full stop.
work.
Full stop, Kayla. Congratulations. That's awesome. That's achievement and that's success.
Thank you.
Okay, continue.
So I'm going back to the office in January, moving, and even though the situation's been handled and I feel like I got a lot of support from like my manager and the directors, it's still like really awkward, Like, would you give any like suggestions on like how to kind of navigate that? I mean, I feel fine, but it's just weird,
Can I ask, is the person that, as I will not call him a gentleman, the person that harassed you, is he still with the firm?
No, he got fired.
Oh,
like,
I'm sorry. I
within a
missed that part of the story. Okay, he got fired. Okay, that's good. So in that case, what I would recommend, because this is tough, I talk about in the book, my harasser was a professor, an associate professor at the time. And what I did, I don't think I handled it as best I could, knowing what I know as a grown woman. I just never went back to class, and he knew he'd done wrong and, kind of gave me whatever. And we both act like it never happened. And that's one way, I don't think the best way to resolve it. Because this person's been fired, you are doing the right thing and stepping into your destiny and rightly accepting a role that you earned through merit and sacrifice and hard work. I would write a letter. If I were you, I would write a letter, and I would write down all the feelings, all the thoughts that you had around the things that occurred over the summer, and just blast him out, and everything that you feel that felt icky and weird and uncomfortable and disrespectful. And then I would burn it. And with the burning of that letter, with the burning of that letter, I would let all of that negativity and nastiness that person tried to infuse into your spirit and into your life and into your professional ascent as a powerful woman dissipate and no longer exist. And then when you go there in January, you kick butt, you take names, and you walk in your pretty powerful.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'm proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye, Kayla.
Bye, Kayla. Congratulations.
Bye.
That's awesome.
Girl, you're like Oprah.
No.
Oprah magic going on.
I believe in that. I'm very big into like energies, you know what I mean? I'm like, light a match to that and get thee behind thee, girl. No, ma'am.
Yeah, I love that. I
No,
might
ma'am.
have to burn some stuff when I get home.
Yeah, I've burned a few things, Miss Carrie, trust me.
Oh,
Yeah.
and guys, you might have heard some little peeps.
Oh, is it time for her to
just
make
so you
her
guys
debut?
know, I'm not the only Carrie here. And we've got a question here from a reader that says, are you a dog person or a cat person?
Okay, well, I'm going to answer it now. I'm going to excuse myself and take a quick little mad dash in front of the camera. And I'm going to be right back. And some of you, if you've been following me on social media, you already know this pretty little girl. Come here, girlie. Come here, girlie. Hey, Miss Carrie. Hey, Miss Carrie. She's so sweet. Oh, my God. She's a little crazy, and she loves kisses. Come to mama. Come to mama. Hey, sweetie. Hey,
Carrie
sweetie.
James is
This
her
is
name.
this is little Carrie James.
Hi,
She's
Carrie James.
okay. Can you stop it? Can you be a show dog, please? Okay, you don't know how to act.
Pageant dog like
She's
the
not
mother.
a not a pageant dog. Okay, can you say hi to the camera?
That'll calm her down.
No. Okay, I'm gonna just let you down because you don't know how to act. Say bye, Carrie.
Bye, Carrie.
She's sweet. Okay, bye-bye. Now go play. Feel free to do what. Okay,
She's rambunctious.
she's a mess. Okay, so
That's how Carrie's are.
yes,
We're wild.
yes, yeah, a little wild, a little crazy.
So Ebony's gonna keep signing.
Yes, I'm
Let's
gonna
get
keep
some more
signing.
questions here. Timothy from LaPorte, Texas. Hey, Timothy.
Hey.
He wants to know, did you dress well while attending law school?
Oh yes, and you probably remember the part in the book where I talk about for my law school finals, everybody, kind of prides themselves in college and grad school, medical school, law school, all that stuff with being. Is my audio okay? Okay. They pride themselves on like slumming it, right? Like coming to class in their sweats and they haven't showered in 3 days because they're studying so hard, and that's what hard work looks like.
And Megan McCain said she used to wear sweats to
Yeah.
her internship.
Yep,
And
yep.
she said that was a foul, and she said she would not recommend it.
Yeah, she grew from
Yep,
that experience. So when I went to my finals for law school, I actually put on a two-piece suit. I put on a skirt and a jacket because for me, looking the part felt instrumental to my ability to be the part. So I wanted to look like a litigator. I wanted to walk into that final. Like I remember my first one was torts. And I walked into torts and I said, I'm a lawyer today. I am not playing. I am about the business. I'm a lawyer today. And I handled each question as an attorney. And I did that for every class: crim procedure, crim law, civ pro, property, torts, and legal writing. And I did very well. And I think maybe I would have done well anyway, but I like to think that that has something to do with it. Just being in that zone kind of from a physical space and then it manifesting academically as well.
No, I'm sure it all feeds into one big loop. Because,
Absolutely.
No, it's all about how you feel. And even there's social science behind that. I know, like, there's a Harvard professor who, she presents a lot of studies of like power poses and how it's like physiologically it affects the way that your brain processes like just your chemicals and your power.
Yeah,
so,
Kirsten Hagelin speaks about it specifically in the book about power posing.
Yep.
When she was going into her interviews for Miss America, which is Miss America, and people that aren't familiar think, oh, beauty. No, Miss America is not Miss USA, respectfully, and I'm a Miss USA girl.
I was a Miss, USA.
Yeah, it's a
no,
beauty.
It's very different.
It's a beauty pageant. Miss
It's
USA.
devolved. I have to say it's devolved.
Yes.
When my aunt was Miss USA. They used to have a talent portion. They don't anymore.
No,
it was more. It's just about.
It's a beauty pageant.
It's boobs.
It's
like,
a beauty pageant. It's swimsuit. Well, it came from a swimsuit competition.
No
no talent. An interview is personal, and it's fine. And I'm a Miss USA girl. Love it. Great system.
If I had to do it again, I would do America.
But Miss America is a scholarship pageant.
Yes,
I mean, they do not play. That interview is rigorous. Literally, I much credit my pageant interviews with my ability to walk into interview rooms at law firms across this country and be completely fearless because of the training purely from the Miss America system interviews. So when Kirsten Hagelin talks about power posing before a Miss America interview, it's no games. It's no joke. And she won Miss America. She's one of the youngest Miss Americas we've ever had. I think she was like 18, 19. So that is not normal.
Yeah, she just celebrated her 10-year anniversary.
10 years, and she's not 30.
Yeah,
yeah, I think she was maybe 19 and she won Miss America, which is like, that doesn't happen.
She won the lottery in more ways than one.
In so many ways. She's amazing. We love you, Kirsten.
Yes. But also, I think it is definitely, the power that you feel.
Yep.
You have to, like they say, fake it till you make it. I mean, that's a big part of the industry.
Megan McCain, she talks about dressing for the job you want, not the one you have. And it's a trite saying, but it's totally true.
Yeah, Monica Crowley does too. And you're in the
Oh,
interview. I remember
yeah.
her saying in the interview that you dress. She would buy things that were a little better than what she was used to push herself.
To push herself and to feel that level of confidence when she walked into interview rooms or to meetings as a young Politico on the Hill. She really went there full throttle, and it served her, throughout her career. So.
Yes. Let's see. Oh, I like this one. Hey, Tan, Tann, or is it Tan? 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 We'll go with Tan.
Yeah.
From Smyrna, Georgia. And Tan says, hello, Ebony. What's next on your journey to influence the world? You remind me of a real-world Olivia Pope.
Ooh.
What do you think as your pretty power continues to expand?
Tan, that is high praise, and thank you very much. I'm also a gladiator, so thank you. A little Carrie. Carrie meets Carrie. She's a little slightly calmer. So this book is really a cat.
Oh,
What's What's wrong with you?
Carrie.
This book is a catalyst for me by way of changing the world. You've read it, Carrie Sheffield. Let me be. I gotta use last names now.
She's read the Cliff Notes.
So you know that this is my story, but it's also the story of the other powerful women: Marsha Clark, Kirsten Hagelin, Meghan McCain, Desiree Rogers, and many others, Monica Crowley. And it's because my desire to impact the world, I don't know how much I'll change it, but certainly to impact in even incremental ways, is around the collective. I'm very much a believer in, and it's funny because I'm an only child. Maybe that's why I feel so strongly about the power of the collective. That
Yeah, I
we
had 7
as
siblings. I'm like, give me my space.
I get that. That makes sense, girl. You earned that. But for me, I'm very much like the collective feels important. So I think the next step on my journey is building out the Pretty Powerful brand. I would love a foundation around Pretty Powerful where I already mentor a lot through my sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, incorporated and through other organizations. But that's my next dream, is to have the Pretty Powerful Foundation where young women across this country that have interest from law, business, finance, politics, journalism, fashion, publishing, you name it, nonprofit work, education, can all kind of come together in a monthly way to hear each other's narratives, hear each other's challenges, support one another through those. Because that's the thing, and anybody in business knows this, and I know you know it because you've started a whole business. You have so many no's. People will tell you no so fast, and really so many.
You get rejected by some of the greatest minds in the world.
Yeah, and or ignored. You know, that's the other thing.
Yes.
You know, you're lucky if you get a
Yes.
no. Like, oh,
Right.
they actually opened the email. You'll get complete radio silence so much of this journey. So to have a space where we can support each other in our power ascents feels like my dream come true. So hopefully the Pretty Power Foundation comes soon.
Keep an eye out for that one, Tam.
Yes, exactly.
No, I love that. And I know the viewers at Fox and your radio show admire your passion and your intensity. And
Yeah, I'm a little
can I
intense.
tell them what's on your wall over there?
Of course you can.
So I walked in to
I love
Eboni's
that you know what
apartment,
that is.
and I was just like, okay. I was like, I'm like, usually I see this in a museum, but she has, is it a replica or an original?
That's an original.
Tell people what this
made.
is. You can't see it on camera, but tell them what it is. Because,
Right.
and I'm just, I'll give
Yeah,
my
I love
impression
that
of
you
it.
know
But
what
I'm
it-
just like,
well, why don't we start
wow,
with
this
that?
girl's
What
intense.
What did you think when you saw
So
it?
this, she's got and she'll give the full story, but it's a picture of a slave boat and the design of how you pack slaves. And I've seen these in, textbooks or a museum, but she's got it on her wall above her, like, movies and DVDs and books. And
Yeah,
I'm just like, that's an intense woman who understands history and
and
legacy. And but
That's what it
also,
is.
I just admire your book because, and just who you are, because you talk about race in a way that is just so graceful, but also just very real. So
I love that you had the awareness to know even what it is, because most people that come to my apartment, black, white, purple, or brown, don't really know what that is. So I think that's telling of your education that you've given yourself, and I applaud you for that. So this is the transatlantic slave trade. It's the Middle Passage. It replicates the Middle Passage. You've got anywhere from, I don't know, if I had to ballpark, maybe that's 25 or 40,000 slaves packed like sardines, stacked on top of each other, and going from Africa, most of them West Africa, to what we know is the continental United States, docking in either Charleston or Virginia, likely. And that was a months-long passage, and from feces and menstruation and pregnancies and suicides and all kinds of the horror that the blood that runs through my veins experienced to have their journey to America. And the reason I had that actually custom made and framed and matted and put over my bookshelf, that's not an accident. That is because my people, the story of my people, literally came from property and from the slave trade. And then probably if I had to identify one person, Carrie, as my greatest role model or idol, it's actually Frederick Douglass, who taught himself to read. And that's why writing a book and being a published author feels like emotionally, like I can't talk about it too much because I might cry off these lashes. But no, in all seriousness, Frederick Douglass was born into slavery, taught himself to read, and became one of the prominent advisors to a United States president. Born a slave, dying a man of distinction in that way is the legacy of what's possible. And I think that it should be inspirational to all Americans and all people. but particularly to all Americans, because look at the American story. And I think when we talk about the statues and we talk about Charlottesville, we talk about some of the ugly underbelly of the American history story. And I'm a proud recipient of an undergraduate degree from Chapel Hill in both communications and African American studies. And the reason I wanted to learn that story, Carrie, is because as sad and horrifying as parts of our story are, for me, it actually feels very empowering, because it's like, my God, this is what people endured. And I am so blessed and fortunate to be able to take their legacy and manifest it in something like that's insane. Like that is the beauty of
It's an American story.
It's the American story. It's the American dream. And I just feel very privileged to, like, I can publish a book. These people were killed for trying to read. Like, literally, that's the narrative and that's the legacy. So I feel so blessed beyond measure.
She's like a real life Cinderella.
Stop it.
I mean,
Stop
you
it.
need to buy this book right now. I'm sorry. No, it's an amazing
I love that you brought that
story.
up. Thank you, Kay. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm telling you, so many people, they walk right past that. They don't even know what it is. And then beside it, you can't see that in the shot either, but that's the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, which is the Equal Protection Clause, which says that every amendment applies to all of us equally, from women to people of color to everything else. So that's a little, like, if you wanted me in a nutshell, it's the middle passage and the Equal Protection Clause. And a little Dorothy Dandridge sprinkled in for good measure.
Yes.
First Black woman ever nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress.
And Carrie wants to eat your
And Carrie
markers.
wants to eat the Sharpies.
All right, Ebony, we're going to do some hard-hitting 22 questions in
okay.
2 minutes.
Let's do
So
it.
you're just going to have to rapid fire.
Okay.
Do it Fox News style.
Fox News style.
All right.
We're going to break.
All right. Yes. Who inspires you most?
My mother / Frederick Douglass. There we go.
Who would you like to trade places with if you could?
Oh, man. That's tough. Probably Oprah, just because she has such global impact.
I'll take it. Who makes you laugh the most?
My best friend, Christina Jackson. She's crazy. She's also the developmental editor of this book. And
Oh, that's right. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
And at some point I want to do, I don't know, TED Talk or something about working side by side with your best friend of 20 years, which for us was amazing, but I understand could be challenging. And the best thing, I have to do this because why not? We became best friends because we were dating the same guy at the same time. My freshman year of college.
And you knew it?
No.
Or it was after
So
the fact?
I was young and dumb. I was 16, college freshman at Chapel Hill. Christina's a very
You went
tall,
to college at 16. Okay.
total geek.
Slackers.
Total geek.
The rest
But
of us.
Christina's tall and sophisticated, and she was an upperclassman, and she comes up to me like, "Are you dating so-and-so, so-and-so?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Me too, we should talk." And we talked for 6 hours that night, and 20 years later, she is my best friend. She's amazing, and she literally saved this book. I wrote this manuscript. It was rough, and Christina brought it to life, and she's amazing. So she makes me laugh, and she's amazing.
I hope you're watching, Christina.
Yeah, I hope so too. Probably not. She's probably working.
Oh, wait.
getting
Wait.
bossed up.
We got sidetracked. Girl,
Okay.
you sidetracked me. All
I'm
right.
sorry.
Who is the... I fell under her spell, as you all will, if you go to prettypowerfulbook.com. Who is the most unexpected person on your phone? In your phone.
In my phone.
Yes.
Unexpected. Who's in my phone?
The most hard-right Republican.
Oh, okay. I have some hard Republicans. Katrina Pearson. Katrina
Oh,
Pearson's in my
wow.
phone. Katrina Pearson's
Okay.
a good friend of mine. I love
Yes.
Katrina. Shout out to KP. And
KP.
as I said on the specialist today with Governor Huckabee, I might not have a lot of political crossover with the governor or his daughter, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, but I love seeing bossed up women. I don't care what aisle.
She is
She
a
is
pretty
bossed
powerful
up.
woman.
She's pretty powerful.
She is pretty powerful.
Sarah
Yep.
Huckabee's powerful. Kellyanne Conway's pretty powerful. Like they might not be my political jam, but they are bosses on every level,
Oh,
and
for
I
sure.
respect it. So,
Yep.
love it. Hey, KP.
Okay. Who is the last person that you called or texted?
Let's look. Let's see. Oh, well, this is my dear friend Lauren Lister. Lauren's pretty powerful. She's acknowledged in the acknowledgement section. Lauren, I met. She's a brilliant journalist. When we were working at CBS News for a hot minute together, we went through a really challenging and educational year at CBS News, and now she is brilliantly reporting for KTLA in LA. And she just sent me a little note of support because she's pretty powerful and she's just that warm and caring. And I talk about it in the Mean Girls chapter with Meghan McCain, how unfortunately, as you know, all women are not that way. So when you find women like yourself, Carrie, women like Lauren Lister, women like the women in this book, women like, the women that are close to me, I celebrate you. I applaud you. I tell you how much you mean to me, because this could be a lonely journey, all journeys to success and power. And you want to celebrate and hold dear to those women that support you and lift you up in those times. Hey, Lauren Lister.
Hey, Lauren. Okay. Who is one fictional character that you would love to date?
Fictional character. Will Smith. Fictional character, but Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's like my throwback
honey, he's
jam.
mine. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, Carrie, are you trying to fight on this live signing?
Like freshman year all over again.
Wasn't really good. Exactly. Except for we.
No, I actually used to dream about him.
No, that was going to be my prince, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
We'll give it to you. It's your day.
Okay, thank you. Happy birthday to me. I get Fresh Prince of Bel-Air from like 1996. Thank you, Carrie.
I think this is an easy question. Yeah. This has to be an easy question. What is the last book you read? Would it happen to be this one?
Well, yes, because I did the audio. Yes, because I did the audio recording of Pretty Powerful. All 17 hours it took me. So if you buy the audio recording, you will hear my voice. In addition, of course, to your signed copy at prettypowerfulbook.com. But other than that, the last book that I read on my Kindle, it's probably going to be the very last, because I read like 3 or 4 at a time on my Kindle. But I enjoyed Settle for More, Megyn Kelly's book, who's a colleague. And it was really interesting to compare our narratives, because we both, like you said, kind of come from traditional law backgrounds and then went into broadcasting and made our own way. And she's also, gone through marriage. It's just a lot of parallel and overlap. So I enjoyed Settle for More a lot.
Yeah.
And that's on my Kindle.
That was a good book.
Yep.
Okay. What is one thing that you need to have in your fridge at all times?
Greek yogurt, easy answer. Greek yogurt, no. They're not paying me, but Fayet is my brand of choice, 0%. And it's a superfood because you're getting like 20 grams of protein and like 0 fat and hardly any sugar. And I have a cup pretty much every morning.
So if you want to be a Fox News star,
yep,
go for that.
Exactly. Yep. Greek yogurt, baby, every morning.
What's your favorite pastime?
I am a shameless binge watcher of television, not particularly intelligent television. Reality TV is my jam. I love relationship shows, so like all the cheesy, corny ones. So from The Bachelorette to Married at First Sight to Married at First Sight Second Chances, because I watch all seasons of Married at First Sight, and I just love picking those apart and dissecting them and having full days of those. Also the Housewives franchise, so New York, Beverly Hills, Orange County, Atlanta, you name it.
We're going to have to talk about that more later.
Okay. Fair enough.
What's your secret snack?
Secret snack? Salt and vinegar potato chips. Shh, don't tell anybody.
Oh my God, I love those. I could eat
know.
a whole
There's
bag.
a thing of Pringles in there.
Like,
don't tell
there's
anybody.
Like,
I know it's
oh
bad.
my gosh.
It's
I don't know
bad.
what they put in those, but oh gosh.
They're very addictive.
My tongue will like dry up because of the vinegar.
So I go in the refrigerator. I'm like, I should eat another cup of Greek yogurt, but the salt and vinegar chips.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
As Monica, I have to do a book plug. Monica Crowley does say everything in moderation. So I give myself permission for the chips.
Yes. So what is the last album that you bought or streamed?
Probably Kendrick Lamar, because that's just awesome. Bruno Mars as well, which I'm going to see in concert. Ooh. Yeah, Bruno's great. I'm a big music fan, and when people used to perform, and Bruno Mars, particularly for our generation, is like a performer. So I really like that about him.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, he's amazing.
Yeah.
What item would you love to get your hands on if it went up for auction?
Something from Elizabeth Taylor's jewelry collection, because it's amazing.
Because you're going to sell all these books and more.
All these books to build this entire apartment to get my hands on it.
Help her out for her birthday.
Yeah, exactly. But that woman had impeccable taste.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
Well, I know it's not being late because I'm habitually about 10 minutes late everywhere I go. Small talk. That's my biggest pet peeve. I can talk, but small talk, like, oh, how's the weather? How's your day? No, I talk with intention. So I'm cut to the chase, keep it pithy, keep it straight to the point. So small talk is.
Well, that's perfect for Fox.
Exactly right.
Every second matters.
You get about 3 minutes to get your whole point across. So.
Okay, so what's your favorite pizza topping?
Just pepperoni. Just pepperoni. Classic.
Classic for a classic woman.
Classic, yeah, just pepperoni. Or if I'm going to do veggies, I'll do mushrooms. I love mushrooms. Mushrooms, sausage, and maybe some green peppers. These are good questions.
We're taking orders here.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm hungry, by the way, too.
So what was the last movie that you saw in theaters?
Oh, yeah, think about this. Hidden Figures. Hidden
Oh, I
Figures.
need to see that.
Yeah, and that's, by the
I
way,
need to
that's
see
telling
that.
around how
I
bad
need to see
movies have
that.
been recently.
I was
because
like,
Hidden
that came out
Figures
a while
came out
ago.
when it was snowing.
Haven't you seen Wonder Woman? You
Nope.
don't go to what?
And
Pretty powerful
you know
women.
what? No. I want to say a mutual friend of ours. It might have been either Jenna Diabela. No, I think it was Joe. Was it Notowski? It used to be on Red Eye.
Joseanne?
Joseanne.
Yeah.
She tweeted out just like yesterday, like every woman that told me Wonder Woman was good lied. So
we're gonna have a talk.
we're gonna
Joanne,
we're gonna pull the receipts
yes,
on that.
Joanne, we're gonna talk about this.
I believe that was
I don't
Joe.
know what. Maybe she was being satirical.
I don't think so.
What color is your toothbrush?
Oh, it's white. It's a Sonicare. And I'm notoriously cheap, and I actually talk about it a lot on my talk radio show. And my dentist was like, Ebony, you need to buy a Sonicare, and it's like $100 toothbrush. I'm like, what? But she insisted, and it does make a difference. So I'm into my
You're
white
getting
Sonicare.
all her Fox secrets.
Yeah, it makes a difference.
Do you have any hidden talents?
I can tell you what I cannot do. I cannot sing. I cannot dance. You do not
That's why you're Miss USA.
Right, and not Miss America. Yeah. I mean, I did play classical piano, but not brilliantly well. So, yeah, those are my hidden untalents. How about that?
All right, if you think of one, let us know.
Okay.
Are you a morning person or
Not at all. No. I prefer to not really have to turn it on till 7 a.m., which for East Coast standards is pretty late. I remember, and I talk about this in the book, Grit. I am so not a morning person, but the first thing I ever got to do on television, finally, after years of begging and pleading and cultivating my skill set, the NFL Network would let me go on as a legal analyst. The catch was, I was going on a show called NFL AM, which started at 6 a.m., but I was in LA. So that meant that you had to be at set, that's like taping, is at 3 a.m. Okay, so that means I would have to come home, go to bed at like 7 p.m., wake up at midnight, drive to Culver City to the studio, do my own hair and makeup because nobody likes a diva, and then roll tape at 3 a.m. So, and I did that for 6 months covering the Aaron Hernandez trial, and that is how badly I wanted to pursue this career path. So, for a non-morning person, being up at 2:30 in the morning doing television was a lot.
And you make it look so easy on Fox.
Oh,
and
we've
yet,
done
as
early
the
morning
book,
hits. Yeah.
Details, it wasn't easy.
No,
and
it wasn't easy.
I think a lot of people, because you make it look so effortless, they think it's easy for you to sit in that chair.
Yeah, and that's why I wrote the book, Carrie, because I think, a lot of people in this business and others make it look easy. And I think that there's a misconception around that being beneficial to people. And what I know, because I learned the hard way, is it's not. Is that people need to know all of what they're getting into. I'm sure you get this question a lot. I get this question a lot. I want to be on TV. I want to be on radio. I want to write books. I want to do this. And I'm all about it. And I have many, many young men and women that I currently cultivate to be, in these roles. But I always am really honest with them. Like, listen, know what you're asking for. Know what you're willing to sacrifice to get it. And buckle up and enjoy the ride because it's going to test you. And that's why in Pretty Powerful, I go into great detail around my challenges. And I think the phrasing I use is I would be remiss not to talk about, the downside, the loneliness, the doubt, the self-doubt, the doubt from your friends and family who they love you, but they're scared for you. They're like, why would you leave a budgeting career as a, brilliant young attorney to chase the unknown in LA, and that's real, and I respect that, but that's what I wanted to do. And when I talk to young people, I tell them all the pitfalls of that, and it could have easily not worked out for me. I am so aware of that, Carrie, and that's why I feel so blessed that I get to do this every day, and I still have a million more goals to accomplish, but this is not for the faint of heart, and I'm still challenged by it, and I'm years into the game now, and every day is still like a new journey, a new challenge, a new opportunity to go harder, work faster, and be better.
Yeah. Well, I think also your why. You have a very powerful why of why you do what you do, and I think a lot of people who just say, I want to be on TV. Yeah. It's like, well, why?
Yeah.
It's not just for the sake of being on TV.
Yeah.
You're there for a purpose.
And I think if you don't have a strong why, frankly speaking, this is not at all self-deprecating, it is literally not worth it. Like, it's not worth it. I can tell you right now, it's not worth it. Like, you would be better off being a barista at Starbucks.
Pretty much.
Because it is it's an enormous sacrifice on every level, personal relationships and financially and socially and spiritually. I mean, it takes a toll. And so if you don't have a strong why, there are a lot of other jobs that are a lot better in terms of lifestyle,
everything.
vacation, compensation, all of it. You have to do this work because you can't do anything else, frankly.
What cause is dear to your heart?
A lot, but two, I'll speak about in this moment. One is HIV and AIDS. And it's so weird because I remember being a very young girl when Magic Johnson announced publicly to the world that he was HIV positive. And for some reason that resonated with me. Like, I remember being like 4th or 5th grade, like really young. And that was always my platform when I was doing locals for Miss America. It was always HIV and AIDS awareness. When I was at UNC Chapel Hill, I always headed up a service event for National AIDS Day, which is December 1st. I think because I always felt like AIDS was such a preventable disease and HIV, so that we really needed to do a better job of destigmatizing, getting testing, finding out your status. So that's very, very important to me. The other is, and I hope she doesn't mind me sharing it, but it feels important and powerful. Christina Jackson, my best friend, and developmental editor of this book, and she saved this book in every way that a book can be saved, to borrow a Titanic reference. She is a breast cancer survivor, and she is 36 years old. And for a lot of companies or places in this country, you can't really qualify for a mammogram until you're 40. And you know, knowing that she probably wouldn't be with us now if that were her situation, I'm just a very big advocate, and I want to do a lot more work. I need to do work big time in research around early detection of breast cancer in women, because she's a rock star. She is truly pretty powerful, and she literally got diagnosed, got her mastectomy, got her reconstruction, and was hitting the ground running on editing this book to make it what it is in front of me today within 6 months. So early detection for breast cancer is a very, very big deal.
Sounds like something for the
Powerful
right. Foundation.
Correct. That's exactly right.
What's the last gift that you gave or received?
Oh my God. Let's keep the lashes on. Okay, so over the weekend, I received a gift from someone very, very special to me. And it was a silk scarf. It is beautiful, but aside from that, it's what it said on it, which it said the word courage. And the gift was given to me as a response to the past few weeks. And I'm really not one to, make a big deal out of stuff, but it's been a challenge a couple of weeks. I had a segment on the show called The Docket, and people felt a certain way about it. And I get that. And I expected some level of it. I don't know that I expected that kind of reaction, but it happened. And, my challenges navigating the past few weeks. And then I really, when I did the docket, Carrie, I just did the docket because that was the news of the day. And then I was like, oh crap, I forgot I have this book coming out. And I really, didn't consider the consequences around how it would affect Pretty Powerful, if I'm being honest. And certainly there are viewers and listeners that felt strongly against, what I said on that docket, and felt like they didn't want to support this book anymore. And I get that. So this very, very special person gifting me with that scarf, saying the word courage, was so emotionally impactful to me, because I never think of myself as like some warrior or martyr type or particularly courageous. I just said what I felt needed to be said in that moment, and I used the platform God had blessed me with and that I felt I'd earned to say what I think needed to be said, because I felt I'd earned the right to say it. And that's the point of what we do at Fox News and what we do on other cable news networks is it's no single voice. There's no single right answer. It's about getting a multitude of voices out there, and that was what my voice said that day. And so that courage scarf is something that I will forever hold dear, because in that moment, I guess before I even realized it, I tapped into a little bit of my own courage.
Yeah. Well, Winston Churchill, who is my spirit animal, he said the courage is the most important of all of their virtues, because otherwise they're all just hobbies. So if you don't have courage, like nothing else really matters. It's just like nice things you say. So you actually, I think a lot of people wanted to say what you were thinking, and you actually said it.
Yeah, I did say it. And, again, I didn't really feel like, I know I'm going to be some hero today. I really wasn't that serious. What it really felt was, this is my interpretation. This is my take. And if I don't say it in this moment, Carrie, on this platform of this magnitude, what am I here for? What am I here for? What am I in front of millions of people every day, Monday through Friday, 5 to 6 for, if I'm not going to step into this moment and be authentically myself and represent a point of view and invite, even though some of it was nasty and ugly, but I do think a lot of really good thought and dialogue came of it, and I would do it all over again, and I stand by it, and I think it really was helpful for our country and hopefully for our president.
Yeah, well, and Fox News gave you that platform, I think is very important.
And we're very supportive, by the way, of my ability to
I think
speak
that's
authentically.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, we got 2 more questions, then we got to wrap, guys. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. Do we have any more questions from the viewers? I just want to see. Do we have? Let's do like a couple more.
Okay. Let's see.
Keep signing a couple books.
Well, James from Alabama, from Wetham, Alabama. Hey, James.
Hey, James. Alabama, what's up?
Well, we've been answering your question, but he says, is this book about your life experiences? We are raising our granddaughter, 15 and a high achiever. Would like to order your book for her if it will help her. I enjoy your comments on The Specialist. Thank you.
Hey, James in Alabama. I think Pretty Powerful will be wonderful for your granddaughter because it's my story, and I talk about my childhood and growing up and adolescence, but it's also the story, again, of these amazing women that agreed to share their time with me, from Marsha Clark, Meghan McCain, Desiree Rogers, Monica Crowley, Judge Janine Pirro, so the full political and professional gamut. And what I trust your granddaughter will take from it is that there's no one way to do it. There's no one way to be a powerful, bossy woman, that there are so many options. And that's really, I think, where women's empowerment derives, is from the options. And I really think I poured my heart and soul into making sure that Pretty Powerful presents every young woman with options.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should leave it right there.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank
Carrie.
you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much,
and,
everybody.
Eboni, thank you for being courageous and sharing your story.
Thank you, Carrie.
And I know you're going to love the book if you read it. I loved it. I was inspired by it.
Thank you. And that makes me really, really happy. I mean, because I want, this is it's a quick read. It's a 200-page book. It travels well. You can put it in your bag, put it on the elliptical. And I wanted to get it out on shelves quickly. We actually crashed this book, is the publishing term, to get it out on shelves as up to date as possible, because I think that it can change lives, and I feel that it's a movement, and I think it's something that can really, if nothing else, spark a really powerful dialogue amongst all of us as young Americans and people across this country, and women and men, and the way we interact with one another and celebrate one another and give each other permission. And that is my hope for Pretty Powerful, is that it changes the way we, define womanhood and empowerment and what a woman's power ascent looks like.
All right.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you, Eboni.
Thank you, Carrie.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.